So if you bought a Dyson V15 Detect Submarine or the standard V15 Detect and you want to box it up either to return it or ship it somewhere, it can be a real pain since the boxes are pretty complex and you're not really paying attention when you're unboxing it that first time. So here's one that's been reboxed. I wanted to show everyone how to get your parts back in the box. This is going to be a factory type packing. Using how it looks here, you should get the package to be pretty much perfect. It might have a little bit of a bulge versus how it arrived to you, but it's going to be really close. Here we have all these little pieces here and all these cardboard kind of things that are holding everything in place. I would guess if you're like me, you're probably missing a few, even if you opened the vacuum very carefully and you sort of like were thinking, I may have to box this up again in the future. Just to be safe, you might be missing one or two, but here is how it looks. It's flat across the top, so that lid can go down. Here is the cleaning head. That's right here on the end. That has this angled piece right here. It's pretty big. There's a spacer unit right here that's holding in the big tube. And we'll just go kind of left to right here. Here we have a different cleaning head. This is the fuzzy one. That's right in there. Under that, you have a ball head. This is an empty spacer. That's what I'm talking about. These ones are really easy to not really think about and kind of get rid of. You gotta get this one out. Here we have your, using one hand here, so it's a bit of a challenge. Here we have your, it's a mini motor head. It's gonna be in this box right here. Now we can get that piece out. And this is kind of a standard cleaning head, non-fuzzy. So this one was just for reference. This is L-shaped and placed right here. Here you have your charging wall mount and all that. This is just a spacer cover that holds the motor unit itself. This paper is just used to prevent any scratches, keep everything nicely locked in place. Here is another one of those kind of blank holding pieces, just in case you have some stuff like that floating around. These are, again, how that looks. Here you have your, just the tube piece. That one's pretty obvious where it goes here. Now we'll get into this sort of, it's like almost two rows. This is one row and this is a second row. So we'll start pulling these pieces out. That's a blank spacer, nothing in there. Put that right there. This piece is your charging cable. That's wrapped up nicely in here. Behind all that, you have one of the manuals. And now hidden back here, we have, this is a kind of this clips onto your tube and it could hold components that would go right here. Here we have two of the wands, your sort of crevice wand, and then this mini cleaning head. And here we have an empty spacer box right like that. So doing that all in reverse, kind of just grabbing parts as we see fit. Again, I'm doing this with one hand, so I broke my tripod. So might be extra difficult. Basically, we're just doing everything we just saw in reverse, right? So it shouldn't be that bad if you're paying attention. Put that piece in here, that spacer piece. This goes right here. Your main cleaning head. This is probably, when I look at this, this is like the most confusing component for me, was it gets kind of put into this weird L-shaped sandwich deal, and then it has to get put down at a lower level. Once this thing starts getting 3D, then it gets super confusing. And sometimes it might turn it like this. Main guy back in here. This little piece goes over here. Some paper here, paper here. If some of these papers are missing, I could tell you from experience that if you have to return a Dyson for repair or anything like that, they won't give you a hard time. They won't call you and say, oh, this product's no good, but you're missing some packing paper or something like that. And if you're returning it in store to a Target or Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever, they also won't mind. What they want to know is that you didn't use the unit, it's being returned for like warranty or like, you know, approved reasons, and that's not missing any major components. Okay, so where are we? This piece is gonna go over here-ish. And now this is kind of where stuff gets jumbled up, and you could watch the video and rewind it. But since I'm just winging it right now, you basically have to get this piece together in here. That will go something like this. Again, it's not going to be perfect. And there's a little bit of a conflict over here, but that's okay. Here's that spacer box. Again, this stuff's going to be really hard to find, and it may not be exactly perfect, but that should be, again, if you're doing it a little bit more neatly, that's basically what you're trying to do. And now this thing, again, this will, if I had two hands, I could close it. That won't be a problem. And this will be nice and flat and able to be shipped back or brought back to the store. Really, you want to be careful when you're shipping it. That is where this package has to be really secure. And you probably have an outside box around that you want to put this in the outside box. I know sometimes people will, you know, receive it with an outside cardboard box and then return it just in this box. But you got to be careful, since if this rips or breaks open and, you know, a piece falls out or something like that on the way there, then you're not getting your money back. So you do want to use that exterior box if you at all can. You know, if you just keep it open like this with all, you know, a bunch of tape, Dyson may ding you there. I try to be really careful when I'm sending stuff back to any of these companies.